Had a discussion yesterday, LO3. As you know me, my name is Anjum Sathar. Please, if you have any question, drop me email anjum@ukversity.co.uk and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So we'll start in just 1 minute. Okay, welcome. We'll start. Welcome everyone. The lesson will look, first LO3, which we had a discussion yesterday lesson as well. Um, voice issue. We are just doing a bit recap, yesterday lesson. Anybody, any question, please? Before start, if you have, please ask, so we can go through. So we'll start. Okay. So today lesson is focused the concept of the research method, identify the different methodologies. We'll go through choose and justify the methodologies, data collection, sampling, ethics. That will be all in our lesson. Okay, welcome. So that's chapter 3 of the research proposal. That's the research method, research methodologies, which is very important. So you can use this book or any other book, which is a couple of books available on our Moodle page. So please, you can follow them accordingly. Research onion model, which is given by Sender, is very popular, and that can be used, for the research purposes. So which we'll carry on using for the Okay, so that is very important, which we'll carry on using the research onion model. So that will help to understand the research methods and research methodologies. Hello, Huram. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good.
Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon. How are you keeping? Everything okay?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, I'm very okay. What about you?
I'm keeping well. Thank you. Is weather still hot, huh?
Yeah, weather is very hot here.
Okay, hope so will be better, huh?
Yeah.
Ah,
Very. So, yesterday what happened? There is no voice, so meeting cancelled?
yes, actually, I don't know the reason. That was, maybe I tried my best. I used the external speaker, but you can't. I just think so. A couple of people can't hear properly.
Yeah.
So, which I recorded some of, and we can do a bit recap on lesson 3. Yes, today lesson
Yes.
will go through LO3 first, and we look. We can rearrange tomorrow if you're free. LO4. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, so we not miss. So today lesson we'll be looking the research methodologies, research method, which is important in any research. You draw the methodologies, that dwell the methods, those are appropriate to achieve the research objective. End of the day, whatever we do, we want to develop our understanding and to achieve the research objective. That is very crucial. So like a research onion, yes, if we go as deep, we can understand more about the research. Yes. So there are the different approaches of the research, or we called research methods. So primary research, secondary research, quantitative research, qualitative research, deduction, induction methods, philosophy. These are multiple, qualitative and quantitative or mixed message. These methods which we can use for the research methodologies. Okay, so today lesson really we explore. So when we're looking the research paradigm, interpretivist or the positivist or the realistic, we can use these approaches we call research paradigm. So research approaches, it can be inductive, deductive approach, method, logical choices, mono method, mixed method, or multiple methods. We look around the research strategies is action plan to achieve the research objective. We can do experiment, we can do this studies, case studies of other companies, what's happened in the past, so we can lesson need to be learned. That can, because sometime unfortunate in many companies in many countries, we not learn the lesson from the past. We're not really achieving the objective. So we can find the reasons why not that is happening in and we achieving the objective of the research. So the choosing the right methodologies, time horizon is very, very important. Think about how much time you have, how much resources you have, and choose the methodologies method appropriate. Data collection and data analysis, primary or secondary. So primary is the first hand information like you collect yourself. So primary is not always you do the questionnaire, you do the survey. It can be observation method, so you can stand or you can observe, but find a systematical. I observe 4 o'clock, I observe 10 o'clock. So these time, my observation, my result is this. So systematically, that data of your observation can be used for the primary research as well. Secondary data, which is mean the published information that available on the public domain, which we can use to enhance our understanding. Like, we if we want to, I can show you ONS, which is we have a Office of National Statistic in UK. The numbers, these numbers are very important. And if we do any research, like, we want to look around the inflation in the country. So in the UK, inflation is 2.8% at the moment, and the GDP growth is 0.7%. If we look the previous quarter, that used to be even 10% inflation. That been dropped down to 2.8. At the moment, basic interest rate is a 5.25% in the UK. So the government is thinking to drop it because the inflation was high. They increase the interest rate to control the economic activities, and ultimately the inflation dropped from 10 to 2.8, which is a good sign for any country. So unemployment rate is a 4.4% in, and 74.3% is the employment rate. Rest of is people don't want to work, are inactive, that can be other, the discussion can be. So we have this website. So that's the data is a secondary data, which is published information. But we need to be look around the reliability of the data, how much data, which data we are collecting, and that's how much is reliable. Okay, sampling. Sample is the small proportion of the population. So we can say whole UK population or whole Pakistan or India or any country of the world. That is, if you count every individual in the population, that we call census data. If you pick few people and their views, and you can say this is the whole population views, sometime maybe the sampling misrepresent the population viewpoints. So that's which we can look around. So here we have in the UK, after every 10 year we have a census, and that census data is very important. Like I want to look around the UK leads data. So if you want to visit or you want to look around any country's statistic, always good to understand the dimension or the segment of the population. Then that is quite crucial to any business. So we can look around the census, and this is the census data, and we can find the changeover. Changeover mean in last every 10 year we have a census. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, so in the UK, every 10 years is a census, and last census was in 2011, and now recent census data was 2011. So if we look the population 85 years or above, that was 1.9% in Leeds, which is went up to 2.1% population of this age group, which is increased. So what the government looking that trend, government looking that these, the age of the people is increasing, and this live longer, so they increase the retirement age from 65 to 75-year old, and they thinking to increase to 70-year-old retirement age. So by looking these data, and that's a secondary data, this is impact, any research really. And if you want to open a business like care home or any other, so you can find it, or you want to look around, or you want to sell, let's say halal food or any other food, so you can look around different segment of the population in, so how many percent is Muslim or how many percent different ethnic. So the like population from Pakistan, it was 1.2%, now it's 1.3%. So that's within 10 years, the population increase in just in Leeds. So we can look around. If we look the beliefs, so 5.4% were Muslim, now it's 7.8% of the population is Muslim. So the population is went up from 5.4 to 7.8. So that's why maybe you can target them, like a lot of supermarket, in the UK, they started to sell halal meat, because that's, they are missing the opportunity of the business with them. So that's, we can look around. So that's the sampling is a small proportion, and census is the all the data which is the government do every 10 years in. So data analysis, data interpretation method, different statistic tool we can use it to interpret the data. Methodology is a choice. How do you work out the philosophy to use? Guess, copy someone else? No, map the ontological status of your research. So you have to be make sure map, and you look around your own objective of the research. That is influenced by the way you think about the development of the knowledge, because that will affect the way you go ahead about the research. That's, which we need to be. Three views about the research predominate: positivism, introvertism, and realism. These are look in the reality. So changing the methodologies, which we can look around these approaches in a minute, and that is very, very important in any research. So longitude, cross-sectional, primary, secondary sampling, and data analysis. So now we'll look around the data collection method. If you primary data is the information collected through the original on the first hand information. Primary data is a collection. So please, if you want to use the primary data, there is a quite good tool which we can use, is called Google Form. I'm not sure you ever use it, the Google Form before or not. What we'll do, I'll show you. Can you see the slide or not yet?
Yeah, I can see. Please.
Okay. Can you see the website which I'm showing you?
No, website not, but the slide I'm showing primary data.
Okay, so I'll take you other website. Okay, so what we'll do, if you have a Google accounts, yes. So
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
can what you can do, Gmail accounts. If you go scroll down, and you will find there in Google, it's called Google Form. I'm not sure you ever used it before for the research or the survey or the questionnaire. Okay, so
yeah,
you
yeah.
can create your own. If you want blank form, you can click, you can create, your
Yeah, yeah.
own research. So we created in the past, so like we are looking service quality, customer satisfaction, and we asking the question about how often do you shop from supermarket, or this supermarket, or them, or you want to be Likert scale, you want to, so any question. So if you create like this, what you can do at end, you can send these forms like we did, in uh, these forms too, and we receive some responses. So in that responses is always good to be when you have these and you send as the people will answer, and that will create your graphs automatically, and that you can draw the means when they answer these. Here come the responses, and in the responses the graphs software can create automatically. This you can send it to, and you can either copy the link on Facebook or any of the people answer these, and that's, we can use for the primary research purposes as well. That's quite good way. There is other is called We had a discussion in literature review. We can use SPSS software. The data can be analyzed. Yeah. SPSS is given by the IBM International Business Machine, and that's you can use mean, mode, median, correlation, chi-square, ANOVA. These are all the different tools. Statistic, descriptive statistic, we can use it for analysis purposes. Any question, please? If you have, you carry on asking. Huh?
Okay.
So, so data, primary data is the information collected through the first end. Data is collected specific for your research purposes. The objective of any study defined, whether the primary or secondary and analysis must become easier and need to be focused, which we can do. Okay, secondary data, which we mentioned, the data is already been published, the information which we see in like a website ONS. When you do the secondary data, always look around the reliability of the data, authenticity of the data. If you look around how valid is according to your research objective. So data can be quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative mean numbers and qualitative mean opinions about the people. Yes, are the data which we are collecting. So type of the data can be secondary data, government statistic, industries, association, trade, publication, companies, website, in-depth interviews, survey, focus group, social media monitoring, that can be primary data. Okay, select the sampling. So we had when conduct the research about the group of the people, it's really possible to collect the data for every individual instead of identify the sampling. So sampling is the process of selecting the unit of the people or the organization from the population of the interest, so that by studying the sample we may fairly generalize our result back to the population from which they were chosen. So the sample is smaller collections of the unit from the population. That can be. So what is the sampling? So we can look around census and sampling, collecting information from these people to find the answer to the research questions. Selecting the few sample unit from the study population, make the estimate of their prevalence of the study of the population. So we can look around not whole population, we can pick the small unit. It can be randomly, it can be probability sampling or different types of sampling. So sampling can be probability, non-probability, random sampling, systematically cluster, stratified. So you can make a cluster of the population. You can find the group, then you can non-probability. Mostly we'll carry on using convenience sampling, as you know, near to you the people you can ask in, or you can say quota 10% male, 10% female you want, or you can say age group. These can be. So probability at the chance of, so in this technique each element of the large population has taken non-zero probability being selected. This is achieved through the randomly selection unit from the population. Got again the introduction of the bias. We can look around the sampling framework consists of list all the possible probable eligible subject that can be selected. So we can sampling can be maximize the external validity and generalizabilities which we need to be generalized things, and sampling ensure the objectivity of the research. So, sample, single random sampling used for the relatively the small population with the easy to use the sampling framework. Systematically sampling, sample members from the large population are selected according to the random starting point and fix the periodical interval. And stratified sampling, which we can ensure that all the relevant data of the population being represented in the sample. That's we need to be. Types of the probabilities. Cluster sampling are selected two or more stages, mainly used when it is not possible to get the adequate sampling framework for the units, and that's need to be studied. Okay, so non-probability sampling involve the technique where the sample is get in the process that does not give you. the all the individual and the equal chance being selected. The samples are selected based on the subjectivity judgment. Non-probabilities of the sampling is not valid for obtaining the sample representative of large population. External validation intervention study depends upon the replication of the study result of different populations. So we can use the convenience. Subject is selected because of their convenience, accessibility, proximity. That can be persuasive sampling, which is we can look around the sampling consists of the unit deliberately selected to provide the specific information. So sample required to study response the vaccine on the COVID-19 patient. That can be the quota sampling, variation of the perceived sampling, which we can look around in a minute, and ethics in research. Ethics is mean moral principle, like morally, like testing on animals, you need to be think about their own have the rights as well. If if the testing on one animal which protect the generation of the animal, then it's fine, so you ethically you can justify. But killing the animal and then we are protecting, then we the lot of in the ethical point of view can be come on, because the animal have its own rights, and the human has the own rights as well. But that's ethical issue can be raised, how do this arise and what can we do about them, what are the principle of these following. So ethical issue problem arising from the conflict of interest between what is necessary for our research, your moral obligation, not asking the question under 18 without the consent of the parents. So that's all ethically we need research. Ethical issue, the right to withdraw confidential. Yes, if you have a data and the people said something, how we can make sure we can keep the information confidential, because we have a confidentiality act, GDPR, which is called General Data Protection Regulation 2018 in UK. After 2018, if you go any website, you have to accept the cookies before, because any website they know which website you've been, because no analytics we can use it, and we have to secure, you need to give the consent of the people to keep the confidentiality, informed consent, uh, anonymity, and then freedom from the harm of disadvantages. So we need to be make sure ethically and morally correct. Inform the consent, tell the participant what is the purpose of the study. So if you're doing with just the purpose of study is to meet the requirement of to complete my qualification, so that's why I'm doing this research. So why the subject is being single out the participation, the time commitment of the study, any potential risk, and how have these been managed and provide, so that's we can look around. That is very crucial. Then confidentiality, anonymity, which we can look on, all the data should be confidential, all the participants should be anonymous, not by looking the particular names. We can say males, female, we can give them code. And because end of the day we just want to look the views, not want to be that person views or this person view. No, we want male views, female views, majority views, 10% people, 15%, what they are saying. Because end of the day we can achieve the objective participant, not the sensitive personal details, like we're not going to ask what their date of birth. We can say which age group you falls. Yes, are you male, female? If don't want to say about the gender, is absolutely maybe LGBT and all, others now. We can look around the participant right to the privacy and must be respected. Okay, so voluntary participant and the right to withdraw. The participant should be approached with the principle of voluntary participation. In academic research, you should avoid any commercial incentive to participation. uh like, we pay you money, but if we pay you, you will give the views according to our, because they're collecting the money. The right withdraw at any point of the data collection. However, you must, inform them that when the data is collection, the phase is over and it might be difficult to eliminate the data provided to the participant who wish it to withdraw. Okay, so that can be look around, and that's, it's a crucial which we can. and to meet our ethical and moral responsibility. Freedom of harm or the risk, should be no more than participant expected everyday life. Clarify that there is a no risk to harm participant, physical or psychological, and participant should be leave the study unchanged. uh, and how to be inter. That's which we can look around other issues. Please plagiarism, copying someone else and taking the credit. So not copy or paste the text, from the source, and use the proper the style of the reference the data is came from is a secondary data. You using it access date of the website if you using. That's also for the citation and this mentioning the data source. Okay, any question? So today we look around the different methodologies, quantitative, qualitative, primary, secondary, sampling and sampling technique that can be used in the research. And other than that, I'm going to give you the link for you can review few old dissertations just for the learning purposes. I just share with you the Padlet link, our MSc if you student. So there, and other universities that will also help you to think about and that look, how we can use it. Any question here?
Yeah, actually, I have one question here. You spoke this citation or references.
Yes.
So during citation or references, we can take the same data and we can just put some reference
Yeah.
to whom this data belong. So then
Yeah.
there is no problem at all.
Then no problem, because the data, if it's a secondary data, someone else
Yeah,
data, acknowledge it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I quickly show you. I'll stop the recording here and then I'll show you. Huh? Okay,
Okay, okay.
thank you.